To many people, Los Angeles is a city where dreams go to die and the unlucky get lost on the fringes. And some may even disappear.
In the sprawling tapestry of Hollywood's history, a poignant and all too familiar tale unfolds amid the intoxicating aroma of orange groves and the perpetual Californian sunshine. It is a narrative etched with shadows, where the pursuit of stardom intertwines with the specter of tragedy. Jean Spangler, an aspiring starlet of the 1940s, embodies this timeless saga, her vanishing act leaving behind a web of noir-esque twists that rival the most gripping thriller novels. Ascending the ranks from a dancer to an extra, Spangler's Hollywood dreams took a haunting turn on October 7, 1949, at the tender age of 27. Her path, once illuminated by the glitz of the entertainment industry, abruptly darkened as she disappeared without a trace. A torn-handled purse and a cryptic note discovered 2 days later in Griffith Park became the enigmatic remnants of her presence, while Spangler herself remained an elusive phantom. In the pursuit of unraveling this mystifying disappearance, authorities explored every conceivable avenue. Was it a tragic consequence of a clandestine abortion gone awry, a custody battle with an ex-husband, a sinister connection to the mafia, involvement with a renowned actor, or the ghastly handiwork of the infamous Black Dahlia killer? Over 70 years later, the echo of Jean Spangler's absence still reverberates through the City of Angels, casting a long, chilling shadow. During the fall of 1949, Spangler navigated the intricacies of her career, gracing the stage as a dancer at the notorious Florentine Gardens, a venue linked to the tragic fate of Elizabeth Short, an aspiring actress whose life was brutally cut short in 1947, possibly by the hand of the Black Dahlia serial killer. In the days leading up to her disappearance, Spangler concluded her role in The Petty Girl, sharing the screen with Robert Cummings, whom she had befriended on set. As her professional star ascended with roles in films like The Miracle of the Bells and Young Man with a Horn, Spangler grappled with personal turmoil. A whirlwind wartime marriage to plastics manufacturer Dexter Benner in 1942 culminated in a swift divorce 6 months later, citing cruelty. Despite the tumult, their relationship persisted in an on-again / off-again dance, resulting in the birth of their daughter Christine in April 1944. A bitter custody battle ensued, with Benner initially granted custody in 1946, denying Spangler access to her own child. The struggle for parental control unfolded as a backdrop to Spangler's professional pursuits, leaving behind a haunting enigma that continues to captivate the imagination of the world, and the echoes of Hollywood's dark mysteries persist. On the fateful evening of Friday, October 7, 1949, an air of normalcy cloaked the life of Jean Spangler. At precisely 5:30 p.m., she bid farewell to her Park La Brea abode on Colgate Avenue, entrusting her 5-year-old daughter Christine to the care of her sister-in-law Sophie for the night. Florence, Jean's mother and apartment companion, was away visiting relatives in Kentucky, leaving the apartment with an eerie emptiness. Descending the stairs, Jean, with an enigmatic smile, queried Sophie about her appearance. Responding to her daughter's innocent curiosity about her destination, Jean casually remarked, "Going to work," all the while punctuating her statement with a subtle wink. A routine departure, it seemed, as Jean, a peripheral figure in the film industry, often participated in nocturnal shoots. Yet lingering in the minds of Sophie and numerous others was the question: did that surreptitious wink conceal a clandestine purpose behind the guise of work? The embers of suspicion were stoked when the Screen Extras Guild, upon investigation, confirmed Spangler had received no work assignment for that particular night. Television studios, too, had no record of her employment on that date. Approximately 2 hours after her departure, Jean called her apartment, informing Sophie not to anticipate her return until the next morning due to an impending 8-hour work shift.
Called me from Town and Country. There was a little market over there at 6 o'clock, and she said, I'll let you know. She always would let me know when she was, wherever she went.
However, as Saturday night unfolded without her reappearance, anxiety gripped Sophie, prompting her to reach out to the authorities. The unraveling of this mystery took a bizarre turn on Sunday morning, when a Griffith Park employee stumbled upon a handbag in the Ferndale area, an item swiftly identified as belonging to Spangler. The bag's handle bore signs of damage, and within its confines lay a note scribed by Jean herself. The cryptic message read, "Kirk, can't wait any longer. Going to see Dr. Scott. It will work best this way while Mother is away." Thus commenced the fervent pursuit of Gene Spangler and the elusive figures named Kirk and Dr. Scott, launching a saga shrouded in intrigue and uncertainty. Delving into the depths beyond the confines of a mere purse, the enigmatic disappearance of Jean Spangler remains an unresolved mystery, shrouded in the unforgiving shadows of time. Despite impassioned pleas from her anguished mother, who beseeched the media for aid and offered a substantial $1,000 reward, no trace of Spangler emerged. The LAPD, in correspondence with Entertainment Weekly, affirmed that the vanishing act stands as an open-ended missing person case, never officially designated a homicide. In the annals of law enforcement, retired LAPD homicide detective Rick Jackson fielded numerous inquiries regarding the case, spurred primarily by its potential link to the infamous Black Dahlia saga. However, a formal case file is conspicuously absent, save for a personal notebook meticulously crafted by Jackson, containing an assemblage of documents tethered to the perplexing disappearance. Detective Elizabeth Camacho, Jackson's former partner, corroborated to EW that no tangible case file endures. Jackson reflects forensically on the case, asserting that no revelatory evidence ever came to light, emphasizing that it perpetually existed as a suspicious missing person puzzle. This classification, unfortunately, paved the way for the likely disposal of any lingering evidence over the course of 7 decades, including Spangler's purse and its cryptic note, never beheld by Jackson beyond the confines of photographs. While Spangler's mother clung to the hope of her daughter's continued existence, sporadic tips trickled in over the years, alleging sightings of the actress in locales ranging from Salinas to Long Beach. However, law enforcement authorities lean toward a more ominous hypothesis. AMSU Detective Jackson muses on the implausibility of Spangler willingly vanishing without motive, pointing to the emotional investment she exhibited in regaining custody of her daughter. The prevailing sentiment among authorities is that she met a tragic demise, rendering her invisible to the world. Against the backdrop of Hollywood's glitzy film sets, dazzling parties, and vibrant social milieu, Spangler's life intertwined with a myriad of individuals, each entering and exiting her narrative. Scrutinizing the intricacies of these relationships, romantic entanglements, and social interactions may unlock the doors to motives and opportunities, casting a revealing light on the lingering specter of M that haunts the legacy of Gene Spangler. The enigma began to unfold as investigators delved into the contents of Spangler's purse, revealing a cryptic note that pointed accusing fingers at none other than the iconic movie star, Kirk Douglas. As the detective narrative unfolded, a connection between Spangler and Douglas emerged from the depths of Tinseltown's glittering facade. Kirk Douglas, a legend of the silver screen, found himself entangled in the web of speculation. In a dramatic phone conversation with Detective Chief Thad Brown, conducted against the backdrop of Palm Springs, Douglas vehemently denied any substantial recollection of Spangler, the girl from his film Young Man with a Horn. He dismissed their encounter as a mere fleeting moment on set, a casual interaction among the countless faces that populated the bustling movie lots. Yet, amidst the denials, a curious detail emerged. Spangler's mother, casting light on the transient nature of her daughter's Hollywood pursuits, vaguely recalled Gene mentioning a Kirk she had met on a film set. The puzzle pieces seemed to align, leaving investigators to ponder whether Kirk was indeed the elusive new romance that Spangler cryptically hinted at before her disappearance. The truth of Kirk's identity lingered, shrouded in the mystique of Hollywood's secrets. Adding another layer to the intrigue was the mention of a certain Dr. Scott in Spangler's note. Detective Lute. Harry Didion, in a press conference that echoed with the murmurings of an intrigued public, confirmed the existence of a physician named Scott, intertwined with Spangler's nocturnal adventures among the city's nightlife denizens. Yet, the elusive Dr. Scott proved to be as enigmatic as the starlet herself. Despite the confirmation of his connection to Spangler and her social circle, no Los Angeles County doctor by that name stepped forward, each denying any knowledge of the missing starlet. In the midst of this Hollywood drama, a shadowy figure known as Scotty emerged, an Army Air Corps lieutenant with unclear ties to Spangler. Rumors swirled around an affair between them during her husband's overseas deployment. A friend disclosed that Spangler had confided in her about the tumultuous end to their liaison, with Scotty allegedly issuing threats when she decided to part ways in 1945. However, despite the ominous warnings, there existed no concrete evidence that Spangler ever encountered Scotty again. As the investigation unfolded, the tendrils of mystery tightened, pulling Spangler's disappearance into the heart of Hollywood's intrigue. The echoes of Kirk Douglas and the elusive Dr. Scott reverberated through the city, leaving a trail of unanswered questions that only deepened the enigma surrounding the fate of Jean Spangler. In the shadowy underbelly of post-war Los Angeles, a city under the ostentatious reign of mobster Mickey Cohen, the mysterious disappearance of aspiring actress Jean Spangler unfolded against a backdrop of crime, conspiracy, and family drama, creating a gripping tale that still echoes through the corridors of time. As the late 1940s unfolded, the enigmatic disappearance of Jean Spangler took on an air of intrigue, with rumors swirling that the notorious mob had a hand in her vanishing act. Cohen, the flamboyant mobster with a penchant for the extravagant, emerged as an unlikely but compelling suspect. Theories circulated that Spangler may have been entangled with Cohen's henchmen, Little Davy Ogle and Frank Nicolay, who mysteriously vanished around the same time. Reports surfaced, placing Spangler in the company of these underworld figures in the sun-soaked streets of Palm Springs just days before her disappearance. Ogle and Nicolay, already under indictment for conspiracy, became the focus of investigations, but evidence hinted that they may have fallen victim to a ruthless mob hit. Amidst the web of suspicions, the gaze of speculation turned towards the person closest to Spangler, her ex-husband, Benner. In the realm of true crime, the adage, "the husband did it," often rings true, and in Spangler's case, Benner emerged as a compelling figure with motives aplenty. The custody battle for their daughter added a layer of complexity to the narrative, as Benner, who had once held primary custody, now sought it again. Reports suggest that the police, in their quest for answers, questioned Benner, who claimed not to have seen Spangler for weeks leading up to her disappearance. By late October, Benner had secured temporary custody of their daughter in a contentious court battle with Spangler's mother. Remarrying and departing California with the child, Benner's actions left a trail of suspicion that lingers to this day. However, the tale of Jean Spangler takes an even darker turn, with the intriguing revelations of former LAPD homicide detective Steve Hodel. In a shocking twist, Hodel implicates his own father, Dr. George Hodel, not only in Spangler's disappearance, but also in the infamous Black Dahlia M. The younger Hodel's 2003 book, Black Dahlia Avenger, weaves a chilling narrative that suggests his father, a figure of prominence in Los Angeles, was responsible for a string of heinous crimes. The evidence presented by Hodel is nothing short of compelling, painting a picture of a city gripped by darkness and corruption. At the center of this enigma was a woman named Elizabeth Short, forever etched in history as the Black Dahlia. However, the web of connections between the Black Dahlia and other aspiring starlets, such as Jean Spangler, adds a layer of complexity to this noir narrative. Spangler, a woman of striking resemblance to Elizabeth Short, shared not only looks but also silver screen aspirations. As the curtains rose in the 1940s, the City of Angels witnessed a series of chilling events that intertwined the lives of these women. According to the claims of Dr. George Hodel, a man with a dubious past, district attorney documents and police logs hinted at a concerted effort to link Short's brutal M to Spangler's disappearance. The sinister dance extended further, enveloping the M's of Jean French in 1947 and Gladys Kern in 1948. Dr. Hodel, a man whose own life was a tapestry of dark episodes, emerged as a mysterious figure in this macabre tale. Suspected in the M of his secretary and embroiled in incest charges, he navigated the labyrinthine corridors of justice without facing further repercussions. The revelation of police wiretaps on his residence in 1950 uncovered unsettling activities, suggesting a real-life LA confidential scenario where the LAPD turned a blind eye to illicit dealings, including abortions for the wealthy elite. The haunting question looms. Was Dr. Hodel the elusive Dr. Scott mentioned in Spangler's note? Steve Hodel, his own son, delves into the shadows of his father's past, uncovering an active abortion ring led by a Dr. Audrain and populated by physicians who paid hush money to the LAPD. In the pages of his book, Steve weaves a narrative where Kirk in the note could be Dr. Eric Kirk, a physician arrested for performing abortions just days before Spangler vanished. The note, Steve speculates, might signify Spangler's urgent need for a new doctor, a desperate plea echoing through the corridors of a clandestine network. The proximity of Spangler's abandoned purse to Dr. Hodel's residence, the infamous Sowden House in Los Feliz, sends shivers down the spine. As Steve Hodel recollects, whispers of his father's involvement with a gorgeous actress type named Jean swirl in the shadows, adding another layer of mystery to this tangled web of deception and desire. Could the man in the note have been hiding in plain sight, shielded by a network that operated with impunity? Newspaper reports recount Spangler's final moments on the night of October 8th, aligning with the descriptions offered by Dr. George Hodel. Renowned radio DJ Al "The Sheik" Lazar found himself unintentionally involved in the unfolding drama, witnessing Spangler in a heated exchange at a Sunset Strip restaurant. The air was thick with tension as she argued with two mysterious men, leaving Lazar with an indelible impression of the fateful encounter. The restaurant's proprietor, Terry Taylor, corroborated Lazar's account, placing Spangler at a front table with a clean-cut fellow about 30 or 35. Little did they know, these moments would become the last known sightings of the aspiring Hollywood actress. The mystery deepened at a gas station near the Sunset Strip, where attendant Art Rogers reported an encounter with a man and woman matching Spangler's description. In a blue-gray convertible, the man bought gas, claiming they were headed to Fresno. As they drove off, the woman, seemingly distressed, cried out, "Have the police follow this car." Rogers promptly contacted the authorities, but by the time they arrived, the trail had gone cold. Dr. George Hodel, the son of the potential suspect, connects the dots in this perplexing puzzle. His belief that his father was the man spotted with Spangler on that ominous night adds a layer of complexity to the narrative. Hodel speculates that Spangler, aware of his father's arrest for incest just days prior, may have stumbled upon a dangerous secret. The argument witnessed at the restaurant might have been the precursor to a tragic end, as his father's dark history collided with Spangler's pursuit of Hollywood dreams. As the shadows of time shroud the unsolved mystery, questions linger. Was Spangler a victim of circumstance, or did she become entangled in a more sinister plot orchestrated by Dr. George Hodel? In a gripping quest for closure, Steve Hodel, driven by an unyielding determination to unearth the truth behind his father's alleged crimes, embarked on a chilling investigation in 2012. Armed with official clearance, Hodel set his sights on the infamous Sowden House, a residence that had long harbored suspicions and whispers of dark secrets. The year was 2012, and the stage was set for a forensic odyssey that would blur the lines between Hollywood drama and real-life mystery. To aid in his pursuit of justice, Hodel enlisted the expertise of retired police sergeant Paul Dosty, accompanied by his trusty canine companion, Buster. The duo conducted meticulous searches of the Sowden House property in November 2012 and September 2013, each step bringing them closer to the elusive evidence they sought. It was within the confines of the basement and the slope behind the house that Buster's keen senses detected an unsettling scent, the unmistakable odor of human remains. The unearthed soil samples became the key to unraveling the secrets concealed within the grounds of the Sowden House. Enter forensic anthropologist Arpad Vass, whose meticulous examination confirmed the presence of human remains in the soil. The chemical distribution in the samples pointed to an area adjacent to the Sowden House lot, raising chilling possibilities about the sinister events that might have transpired within those walls. In a twist that could only be born in Hollywood, the home under scrutiny at the time belonged to none other than that 70s show star Laura Prepon. Undeterred by the celebrity connection, Hodel persisted in his pursuit of truth. The LAPD, however, seemingly brushed aside the alarming discovery. Unfazed, Hodel reached out to Prepon through her attorney, seeking permission for a non-invasive sweep of her property. His request met a resounding denial, leaving a lingering sense of intrigue and unanswered questions in the air. Despite the setback, Hodel remains convinced that the soil holds the key to unlocking the mysteries that have haunted the Spangler case for 7 decades. As the investigation's momentum waned after 2013, Hodel's determination did not. He speculates that buried within the earth could be the remains of a Jane Doe, an unidentified victim whose fate was lost to the shadows, or perhaps even Jean Spangler herself, a haunting theory that adds yet another layer of complexity to this enduring enigma. Meanwhile, there have been many theories put out by fans on what might have happened to Jean. One fan speculated, "I've researched this case heavily, and I've come to the conclusion, in my opinion, that the father was Kirk Douglas, and indeed she was planning to get an abortion probably the next day, or while her mother was away on her trip. But then that night she disappeared, she met with her ex-husband, and were going to discuss missed child support payments, and a fight ensued. Dexter K.'d her in a fit of rage, disposed of her, and threw her purse in that canyon. He didn't care what the contents were in her purse, obviously. She had no money. Her sister said she was broke and only had a silver dollar in her purse, and it was still in there when the purse was found. I think Dexter really, in his mind, thought his daughter was better off without her mother, sadly. I also think the reason she waited for up to 2 hours in the market BC, she was waiting for Dexter in anticipation she would receive that money she was owed for child support. She really needed that money." Another fan threw in their theory, claiming, "She died in a botched abortion and it was covered up by Dr. Scott because he didn't want to lose his job. Kirk Douglas was the father." A third fan added, "Dexter definitely was behind it, and although the Kirk Douglas angle is interesting, I think him clearing his name before he was even held as a possible suspect was just a preemptive strike. I believe he had done similar things to women, just not Jean. He was worried that if he was held as a suspect for this case, authorities may look into other cases where he actually was guilty and convict him of that." In the face of uncertainties, Hodel's resolve remains unshaken. The question mark that has loomed over Spangler's story for 70 years may one day yield to a more conclusive punctuation mark. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.